A very good afternoon to one and all present here. This is Sohail Malik, Vice President, AACP Pharmaceutical Society. Welcome you all on behalf of Institutions Innovation Council under the initiative of Government of India's Ministry of Education of Al-Amin College of Pharmacy. Today we are all here for a wonderful session on artificial intelligence entitled How is AI transforming healthcare and being leveraged across the enterprise? Prayer is the key that unlocks all the storehouses of God's infinite grace and power. A day without prayer is a day without blessing, and a life without prayer is a life without power. So let's start today's program by invoking the blessings of Almighty. I call upon Mr. Muhammad Uzair from 4th Farm to recite the Quranic verses.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات كانت لهم جنات الفردوس نزلا خالدين فيها لا يبغون عنها حبلا قل لو كان البحر مدادا لكلمات ربي لنفد البحر قبل أن تنفد كلمات ربي ولو جئنا بمثله مددا قل إنما أنا بشر مثلكم يوحى إلي أنما إلهكم إله واحد فمن كان يرجو لقاء ربه فليعمل عملا صالحا ولا يشرك بعبادة ربه أحدا صدق الله العظيم.
Thank you, Zaid. If your action inspires others dream more, then you are a true leader and a guide. It is a matter of pride to have an excellent leader, our respected principal, Dr. Muhammad Salahuddin sir, a true leader and a guide for all of us. I would like to request our principal sir to welcome the august gathering.
Very good afternoon, respected dignitaries on the dais, the resource person and chief guest for today's session, Ms. Snigdha Bose, Vice Principal Dr. Mubin, Placement Chairman Dr. Preeti, Mr. Aman from H2AI, faculty members of Al-Amin College of Pharmacy, and dear students. At the outset, I would like to thank Ms. Snigdha Bose for accepting our invitation. Being the alumni of Al-Amin College of Pharmacy, it's like welcoming back to her home. She was expressing that after 12 years she is back to Al-Amin, and very nice to see her at Al-Amin College of Pharmacy. This session is very interesting, futuristic, equally it's a postprandial session. I'm sure tough for you all, but her lecture, her important topic, which is completely life dependent of all of our individuals, whether it is a pharma professional or whether it is engineering sector. how AI is going to control to an individual in our profession or in our life is going to be very much interesting. Equally, we need to be inclined to learn that these challenges are going to be much more acceptable, though it may be little difficult to understand. As you all know that most of the businesses has already transformed. Probably you might have seen the newspapers, the clippings, the most of the headlines that are covering that. Recently I've seen in Bangalore, one of the company where they had almost 20 people working, and those all 20 has been replaced with AI. The replacement here, it does not mean that you are going to lose the manpower. It is because people are not getting knowledgeable with the technology. If you are not using it, definitely you are going to lose the ground. You have already seen that few of the malls that has come where they are humanless. Definitely it is going to be challenging to understand how pharma is going to have an impact of it. And for this, we have Smita Bose, who is going to talk and give information how AI is transforming healthcare, and it is going to bring a change across in the enterprise in every field. I am very much looking forward that how it is going to be interesting, because she is from pharma and she can give an in-depth knowledge to you people that how pharma is going to transform with the help of AI, whether it is in the community pharmacy sector or it is in the research area. Even in academics, definitely AI is going to play a major role. I'm sure this 1 or 2 hours which she is going to deliver a talk, and the moment I have sent the information across the WhatsApp groups in social media that such a lecture is going to be conducted at Al-Amin. Believe me, many of them, they have called, sir, we are going to lose this opportunity if you are not going to make it hybrid mode. And because of the demand from various states, people who are there, they said, sir, for Bangalore people, for Al-Amin people is going to be an advantage. Why can't we make it hybrid mode? So that's why this entire lecture has been made live, and it has been visible to all the people all over India, all over the world. They are going to listen to this today's talk, which is going to be futuristic. I'm sure this will give an insight to that how future pharma profession is going to be. I'm sure we need to be prepared for it, and for this we are ready to hear today to Smita Bose, and I am very much grateful and thankful that she has come all the way. Proud to have an alumni to deliver a talk, and I welcome her and I request the vice principal as well as our placement chairman, Dr. Preeti, to welcome Dr. Smita Bose. We also have Mr. Aman, who is handling data. I request Mrs. Suma to welcome I also thank to our vice principal as well as to placement officer, to all the other faculty members and dear students. Sure, this one-day program, this 2 hours program is going to be wonderful. We attend you, and I'm sure the feedback is going to be excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words. Now I would like to request our Vice Principal Ma'am, Head of the Department Quality Assurance, Convener IIC, Professor Dr. Mubin Ghani Ma'am, to give us an insight on IIC Institution Innovation Council, Al-Amin College of Pharmacy.
Yes, good afternoon everyone. A warm welcome to our speaker, Snigdha Bose, Director Healthcare and Life Sciences. Principal Sir, my colleagues and my dear students for today's lecture on how artificial intelligence will transform healthcare and being leveraged across the enterprise. This lecture has been organized by ISC Institution Innovation Council of Al-Amin College of Pharmacy and Replacement Cell. This Institution Innovation Council was formed in the year 2021. So with staff members and students. So this council, Institution Innovation Council, is a program which is launched by the Ministry of Education in collaboration with AICTE for higher educational institutions to foster the culture of innovation and startup ecosystem in educational institutions. So its role is mainly to engage large number of faculty, students and staff in various innovation and entrepreneurship programs. So last year, that is 2021 and 22, we have conducted 34 activities, and that includes ISC calendar activities, MIC calendar activities, self-driven activities and celebration activities, for which we have scored 3 stars. So this year, in all the quarters, we have conducted many activities. So today we are conducting this session. So I welcome Snigdha Bose for accepting our invitation and delivering this lecture. I hope all the student staff will get enlightened with this. The main vision of this ISC of Al-Amin College of Pharmacy is to establish innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem at Al-Amin College of Pharmacy, and also to foster the spirit of innovation among students and young researchers at Al-Amin. And our main mission is to create positive environment for entrepreneurship opportunities for students, faculty and research scholars, and also to nurture, support and guide startup ideas and commercialize them. So I hope today all the students, staff will get enlightened with this talk about the importance of artificial intelligence in pharmacy field, and also she'll be updating us about the Artificial Intelligence Act. Okay, I hope all of you will enjoy this session and it will be very interesting. I will.
Thank you, ma'am. I now call upon Literary Secretary, AACP Pharmaceutical Society, Shagufta Ali, to introduce our esteemed guest, Ms. Snigdha Bose, ma'am, to the gathering.
A very good afternoon to all the dignitaries on the dais, and to my students present, and to all the students present here. I am Shagufta Ali, Literary Secretary, AACP Pharmaceutical Society, and I feel honored and privileged to introduce our guest speaker for today's session, Ms. Snigdha Bose, ma'am. Ma'am is the Director of the Healthcare and Life Sciences at H2O.ai, the world's oldest AI company with the largest number of Kaggle Grandmaster data scientists. She comes with more than 12 years of experience in sales enablement, GTM and product strategies in the artificial intelligence and analytics space within life sciences and healthcare. In her current role, she is responsible for AI product-led growth in healthcare. Now, I request ma'am to take over and begin the session.
Actually, I remember her as a very good, obedient and well-mannered student. She has completed her B.Pharm from 2007 and M.Pharm from 2009 to 2011 in pharmaceutical marketing. So So, I see that manners even now. See, when we went to principal, she didn't sit. She told, ma'am, first you sit. So that I really appreciate, and I am proud to have
Mic as well, or do I need to stand here and
Is she audible?
Am I audible without the mic? I mean, I prefer walking around, yeah, rather than just staying in one place. That's it, right? Audible? Yes. Hello, good afternoon. My name is Snigdha Bose. I've been in Alameen for 6 years altogether, and it's around 12 years that I stepped here. So everything seems so surreal and dreamlike because I used to be on the other side of the table. So it just comes a full circle, right? I'll get started. So today's session is going to be how AI is transforming life sciences and healthcare. Everybody's talking about AI, right? And what better than we just get started with the basics of it. So this is what the agenda looks like for today's session. It's not time bound. Let's make it more interactive. Let's break the silence here. Would love it if you guys come to question me. And no question is a stupid question, right? Feel free to ask me anything and everything. And anything technical, Aman is here for my team. So thanks, Aman, for that. So we're going to start off with a basic introduction. We're going to talk of state of AI in healthcare. So when we talk of healthcare in the industry, it comprises of not only pharma and medical devices, but you also have hospitals and health insurance companies. So what is happening in AI right now? Thirdly, AI across pharma value chain. So what are the big pharma companies, right? Right from Novartis, J&J, AstraZeneca, Amgen, what in real time is happening in the industry? How are they leveraging artificial intelligence, right from drug discovery to sales and marketing to supply chain? So I'm going to double click on this. Then, so you'll be like, okay, you know what, Snigdha, you've spoken enough of theory, right? Why don't you show? You come from an AI startup, right? So we are going to show a live demo of how an AI platform looks like. Now, Aman is going to helping me out in there. And then we're going to end with AI apps. So we have a dedicated health team as well. I'm going to show and demo live AI healthcare apps. So when I say healthcare, it will be pharma and hospital provider related. And then we're going to end with a Q&A. When I say provider, I'll just put this out. In the US, in the North America, and in the India regions, provider is synonymous with hospitals. So in case if I say providers, it would be hospitals. Just feel free to stop me if you think I'm going too fast. Yeah. So this is me. I'm Snigdha, born and brought up in Ranchi, a small town in Jharkhand. I stepped at Alameen in the month of August in 2003. So that was the first time I just stepped out of my home. I started my journey as a BPharm student in 2003-2007 batch. Took a year's break. Wanted to get back working, worked for a year, came back again to Alameen, right? And I think I was the first batch to do MPharm in pharmaceutical marketing and management, 2009-2011 batch with Asha ma'am. And thanks to Alameen, what I am today, I keep repeating that because I was campus based at Alameen. So whatever I am today in data science, in analytics, all these 12 years I owe it to Alameen. I owe it to my mentors, right? I did my masters. I got campus based here at Genpact. So that is where I started my journey in the corporate industry in 2011. We were lucky enough to get recruited at the Pfizer captive at Genpact. After that, I then moved to GSK, the GSK captive at WNS Gurgaon. And then I stayed back for 8 years at Cognizant. So it is in Cognizant when I got into analytics. thorough analytics, right? I was leading the global pre-sales team. Pre-sales as in I was responsible for driving revenue for the life sciences segment in AI and analytics for Cognizant Digital Business for 8 years. So I was leading the global team for North America, India and APAC. Stayed there for 8 years and it's been 2 years since I've joined the startup called as H2O.ai. Another thing I would like to call out is, this college gave me an idea of writing papers. I would really encourage you guys to do the same as well. In the year 2005 is when I started writing white papers for IPCA, and that gave me a touch of authoring papers. So please go ahead, write white papers because that is something that will give you an extra edge over your mark sheet as well. And right now, alongside working, I'm also doing a lot of freelancing work. I am an author. I write a lot of thought leadership and white papers in healthcare. Alright, so before I get into healthcare, a quick snapshot on what we are doing. So I am part of H2O.ai. We are the oldest AI company in the world. We were established way back in 2012 in San Jose, California. Now when I say we are the first company, we are the oldest startup, we are still existing in the market. I will not deep dive much into it. We are a Series E funded company. We just raised a lot of funds from our clients. The key market about our startup is that whoever are our funders, right, whoever invested in us, if you can see the investors, they are all our erstwhile customers. So we walk the talk, right? We've never gone into the market raising money. It's our clients who've leveraged our AI platforms in healthcare, in PSS, and they've gone ahead and invested money in us. We have a lot of AI solutions and platforms, right? We're a product company, we're not into services at all. We have a cloud, AI hybrid cloud. We've got GPT. So I'm just going to touch upon that. We've just now launched our own LLM studio, our own H2O GPT. We have our solutions. We'll just probably touch it later on. And yeah, and the marketing is Kaggle Grandmasters. Not sure if you guys know about it. Kaggle is the biggest community of data scientists, the best of the breed. There are only 200 Kaggle Grandmasters in the world, and our startup boasts of having the maximum number of pages in the world. Right? So yeah, and we have about 2.2 million user community and about 23,400 companies use us. Okay, why I wanted this slide was, now when we were studying, right, the theoretical knowledge and practical knowledge, there has to be a little bit of gap, right? So when you venture into the market as in the industry, right, you guys are M firms, B firms? Final years. Awesome, okay. So whenever you venture out in the market, right, and they talk about healthcare, pharma they will, but the umbrella term that is used for is healthcare. Now within the healthcare, how the industry defines is, you have life sciences and you've got healthcare. Within life sciences, how we define the industry is you've got pharmaceuticals and med devices. Pharmaceuticals, I think all of us know, right? Amgen, Pfizer, Novartis, J&J. You've got med devices like Becton Dickinson, Medtronic, Philips, Siemens. Healthcare, this is something that will be new for you guys, which I really want you to know. Within healthcare, you've got health insurance and providers, which are nothing but hospital networks. So not only your exposure is open to pharma, but I would say 100% you have opportunities in healthcare. That is, you can get into provider space, you can get into health insurance space, you can get into analytics space. It's not just pharma. Any questions? Good, we are good. So we all know, right? We all are aware of the big pharma companies, we are all aware of the insurance companies, right? So what is happening in the market? The reason why I have this slide is you guys have to understand the opportunities that are there in front of you. I've just shortlisted 3 companies here, but trust me, there are lakhs of companies out there in the market who are up there to recruit you guys. Thanks to the domain knowledge that you're building in this particular college, right? So when you talk about what is the state of healthcare, who are the key players? Forget the industry guys, right? Forget pharmaceutical companies, forget the hospitals, Shankar Nethralaya, Apollo, these are always there. Open your perspective. When we talk of key players, we have cloud hyperscalers. What do you mean by cloud hyperscalers? The big giants, right? The big ones. Everybody's heard of them. You know, there's AWS, there's GCP, Google Cloud, and there's Azure. Azure is by which company? Anybody? Microsoft. So all these 3 big companies, you will not believe, have invested in healthcare. They have their own BU dedicated only in healthcare. And they're doing major recruiting in India as well. As a matter of fact, Microsoft has partnered with majority of the pharma companies in drug discovery, in supply chain and manufacturing. AWS, you name any pharma company, AWS is there as the cloud platform. Most of the pharma companies, guys, are on cloud right now, right? Earlier it used to be physical databases, we used to call them as on-premise. But every company, most of the pharmaceutical companies, you name it, even in India, right? You name Dr. Reddy's, Sun Pharma, everybody's on cloud. So these are the hyperscalers who are in healthcare right now. Then you've got AI startups, definitely I'll have my startup in the beginning. But then you've got Excentia and InSilico. You will not believe, guys, there are 180 startups in the world who are dedicated only to drug discovery. 180 only for drug discovery. So imagine the scope that lies. Excentia that you see here, this is the first AI startup company who came up with a pill that a human consumed for clinical trials. That was the first human consumed clinical trials in one particular drug name that was completely built through a drug discovery platform, AI enabled. We've got InSilico medicine as well. Interesting point here is, in the industry if you go, right, companies like Novartis, Bayer, Novo Nordisk, all of these companies are a gold mine. They have a lot of money sitting, right? They're sitting on a lot of money. Most of these companies are partnering with these startups, they are partnering with us in H2O.ai as well for LOP specific solutions. Right? They might partner with a startup for clinical trials operations, they might partner with a startup for drug discovery. And they are all there in cloud. So all of these companies are also open for recruitment and we have a future here. Then we've got typical consultings, right? Earlier the big four, you know the big four, right? At least nod your heads, raise your hands, yeah? Never heard of Big Four? The Big Four consulting companies, BCG, McKinsey, heard of them? KPMG. Okay, so there are consulting companies like BCG, McKinsey, KPMG, PwC, right? They also have a very well-established healthcare practice. Plus you've got IT services. Name any IT services, right? Be it Cognizant, be it Accenture, be it TCS, be it Infosys, everybody is heavily invested into healthcare. Not only in the data side of things, not only in the analytics side of things, but they also have very good onboarded AI things in place. Infosys, Cognizant, Accenture, they all recruit a lot of domains heavy guys, right? You need not be a data scientist, you need not, sorry, I'm just trying to spell domain here. So you need not be a data scientist, you need not be an engineer, you need not have an MBA. I'm a classical example here. Right? And then there are a lot of boutique healthcare analytics companies, yeah? These companies are only into analytics. Analytics as in they do a lot of analytical solutions. And their core revenue lies only in healthcare, okay? Examples would be ZS, IQVIA, CTS Tech. So this slide will give you a perspective on the future that lies ahead, right? Does this slide change your perspective a little bit on a scale of 5? It does? Are you guys like really sleepy after lunch? No? Yeah. I hope this slide helps it because it actually gives you a lot of perspective. Yeah, that's possible for all of us. Alright, let's get to the basics now. Now, how is AI applied across the pharma value chain? So what I'm going to do is, for this particular session, I'm restricting myself only to pharma, right? Further, if we have time, I can delve into hospitals and insurance as well. As you can see, right from drug discovery to clinical trial operations, PV, supply chain, manufacturing, finance, future of work. What do you think future of work would mean here? It refers to HR operations. HR operations within the pharma company. Sales and marketing, post-marketing operations, patient engagement and assistance post a drug has been launched. And then you've got your adverse event reporting. Can you see the entire pharma value chain has been captured in this slide, right? Am I missing something here? No? Okay. So each and every point, each and every LOB has a very strong AI presence right now. You name any pharma company, you name it, I'll give you an example now. Take any name, right? You take Novartis, you take J&J, you take Dr. Reddy's for that matter. You take Himalaya, you take Biocon. Right from drug discovery to ADR reporting, everywhere AI solutions are being leveraged. And mind you, I'm not talking about analytics here. I'm talking about core AI. We double click on each of them Right? I don't have a lot of text heavy slides. I'll voice over. In case you think I'm going too fast, just say Smita, go slow. Let's talk of research and drug discovery, right? Now, this is a very interesting slide, as I've been saying, right? Most of the pharma companies are investing in drug discovery. What are they doing drug discovery? Protein to protein binding, right? How do you identify mechanism of action for a particular drug? How do you see to it that polypharmacology? Have you heard of this word, polypharmacology? Poly means many, pharmacology is study of effect of drugs. So it's a new thing which is coming up is a lot of drugs are being repurposed right now for new indications, right? So you leverage AI for that, right, in drug discovery. So this thing tells you, right, how are these companies investing in their research papers? Now, one thing about pharma companies is the more amount of research papers they publish in R&D and drug discovery, they have a soft power built in the industry, right? Because of AI. You see here, Novartis is mentioning most about NLP, computer vision, deep learning, machine learning in their research papers, followed by BI, AstraZeneca, Pfizer, etc. Right? So this gives you an idea, right, on how the pharma companies are leveraging it in the research space. This is an interesting one because it talks about the job openings, right, that these companies publish only in AI. So not only you have an option of looking into the hyperscalers or the analytics companies or IT services or consulting, but core pharma companies have their own captives. So did you guys know there are captives in India for core pharma companies? Yes or no? You have an idea? Okay, I'll share the fact now. For example, Novartis. Did you know the biggest offshore center of Novartis is in India? Where? Any guesses? Is it Bangalore? No. Hyderabad. Did you know it's the biggest offshore center of Novartis? There are about 800 data scientists sitting in the Novartis office. Similarly, you have GSK service center in Bangalore. You have Thermo Fisher in Whitefield. You have Medtronic in Whitefield. You have Lilly in Bangalore. You have Merck in Pune. And all these centers are recruiting domain guys, they're recruiting, and these are all, mind you, captives. So when I say captives, they refer to data science captives. They refer to analytics captives. You may ask why? Because number one, gray matter, the best of the brains are sitting in India, and second is the cost but of course. So this gives you a perspective of the well-established data science ecosystem which is already present in India right now. Okay, now when we talk of regulatory affairs, right? At the very high level, what I've done is, these are the different sections or functions where AI solutions are being leveraged. And one thing you have to be very mindful is, when I say AI, in regulatory, 90% of the AI solution that is being leveraged or the technology which is being leveraged is natural language processing. What NLP is, Aman will touch upon. NLP is nothing but it's an AI technology in which you use AI to extract insights from the text. So this reduces a lot of manual intervention, right? People are susceptible to errors, you might just miss out on certain questions, and it's very labor intensive when people work on that. So right from drug safety monitoring, drug labeling, regulatory submission, and it is this particular function of pharma LOB where maximum amount of documents are generated, right? And these documents are mostly in electronic format right now, in the current state. So there's a lot of data that is present in the regulatory affairs function, both structured and unstructured data, right? So this becomes a very, very low-hanging fruit for any AI company or any company which wants to imbibe AI in the regulatory space. You can prepare dossiers, you can optimize your clinical trials, you can collect and evaluate scientific data. There's so much of scientific data which is available in the public domain as well, right? You can have webers, you can use LLMs right now. LLM is the sweetest spot that I can tell you for regulatory affairs, right? You can have your own GPTs, correct? So this gives you a high-level overview. I'm going to deep dive more into the commercial space and supply chain space because that is where the maximum potential is there right now. When I say finance operations, right? Any questions till now? Okay, good. Good. Within financial operations, this is to do with how do you manage finance within a pharma company, right? How do you improve cash flow prediction, how do you use predictive analytics, how do you use AI to predict cash flows, forecasting cost revenue, how do you see to it that there is no fraud? Now, in the pharma industry, maximum fraud happens in the supply chain space, right? When you're dealing with multiple vendors in the supply chain. So, how do you do appropriate supply chain vendor management? How do you see to it that there is no fraud? Again, document processing. There's something known as intelligent document processing. I will not confuse you. It's again NLP based, where a lot of AI technology is being used to extract information from the text which is available, right? And then you have an account receivable. So this gives you a high level overview. HR, right? Naukri.com, right? Naukri.com, and you have, I don't even know, I'm not applying to English. So all of them are AI enabled, correct? So what they do is automatically it reduces the effort of the HR person in selecting the resumes. So right from selecting the right job, like right candidate for the job. So what they do is they just enter the JD, they put it out in the system, and the AI starts screening the right candidate based on the words, right? So right from job screening to scheduling interviews. Instead of getting into a one-on-one interview in person, a lot of these interviews are AI-enabled personalized Q&A sessions that are happening. We even have bots, right? We have a virtual assistant who's sitting in a avatar form. Employee benefits modeling, which is nothing but PF in our case in India, right? Social media analysis of employees. This is very interesting. What companies are doing these days is everybody is into social media, right? You go and you crib about your company, you go and crib about your employer. So what these companies do is they find out the sentiment of the company in social media. So the companies also leverage it for social media analysis of employees, employee satisfaction, through a lot of forms, right? Gender, wage and gender gap analysis, a lot of companies in the US, in other countries as well, and even in India for that matter, not the big MNCs, right? They do a gender gap analysis in wage. There has been a significant wage gap, but they try to decrease it as much as possible without any human intervention. And then employee training. Clinical trials operations. This is actively used, right? This is one of the first areas where AI started being applied. There are companies like IKEA. Have you heard of IKEA? Yeah? They're totally into clinical trials management. They have their own AI solutions. Now, a lot of money is invested in clinical trials, agreed? Lot of money. And though pharma companies are money giants, they have a lot of revenue leakage because of clinical trials. The maximum amount of losses that any pharma company faces are because of clinical trials. Why so? Because the patients might just drop off. They'll enroll for a clinical trial. They are not bound legally to continue, right? They are not penalized. So what happens is patient drop off is the main reason why clinical trials flop, right? So how do you leverage AI? How do you automate it? How do you optimize it? See to it that you're engaging the patients in the right way, that they're engaged, and they're not only engaged, but there's also medical adherence with them. They're having medicines on time, they are maintaining their mental health, there's a particular diet regime, everything is automated. There is no human intervention involved at all, trust me, right? So right from analyzing the past site performance, why is this important? There might be historical data, right? That for a particular clinical trial site, it might have failed. It might have failed for a lot of reasons. But how do you leverage analytics? How do you leverage AI solutions to see if that site is good enough to go ahead with the clinical trial or not? Identify the protocol, come up with your own protocol design. The top three I would say is patient recruitment, patient engagement, and site selection. Every AI company, you name it, and they are having AI solutions in place to see to it that the clinical trials are optimized, right? Any questions here? A lot of CROs are also involved. Have you heard of CROs? Clinical research organizations. Most of the CROs have analytics and AI in play to optimize their clinical trials, the success rate of clinical trials. Don't get overwhelmed with this slide. The reason why it is so text heavy is this is the lowest hanging fruit in pharma industry for applications of AI, which is sales and marketing. Okay, what is the difference between sales and marketing? Anyone? Is it synonymous? Like we use S&M, right? Sales and marketing. Are they synonymous to each other or are they different? It's different. Different like tomato ketchup? Hot and sweet is different. How are they different? How is sales and marketing different? Are they same? Sales is doing it, getting the revenue. So marketing and sales are kind of going parallel to each other and not same in the industry. Marketing, as you rightly said, is coming up with strategies, right? How do you reach out to your HCPs? Who are your customers in pharma industry? Doctors, right? So how do you come up with a strategy to see to it that the maximum number of prescriptions are being generated? How do you do physician profiling? How do you do physician targeting? How do you come up with personas? How do you come up with personalized campaign managements and emails for doctors? That is all marketing. The strategy. Sales is what sales reps are doing in the field reps, right? These are the guys who are going on to the HCPs, doing retailers and getting revenue for us. Both go hand in hand, but they're not synonymous with each other. In the industry, we call them as commercial AI, right? Now, before I get into here, the other thing I wanted to share with you guys as per the knowledge I've gained over the years is, when you talk of pharma companies, right, most of the pharma companies, I start off saying that they are into cloud, right? The interesting part about healthcare, I'll tell you, especially pharma, is these guys have hybrid clouds. I'm just giving you all this intel because it just helps you understand what is happening in the industry, right? You take GST for that example. GST is in Azure, but it's not only in Azure, it also leverages AWS. It also leverages GCP. So any pharma company that you see, they're all multi-cloud, they're all multi-hybrid cloud. Why? Why do you think they are? Definitely that is one reason, exactly. And plus they're all multi-tier, right? The marvelous thing about pharma is, though a company like Novo Nordisk or Novartis might be headquartered in India, maximum sales might come out from North America, right? They have sales coming from LATAM, they have sales coming from APAC. How do they play around with so much of data? They have to be on cloud, right? And they are all multi-cloud environments, multi-vendor environments. They don't have one startup. They'll have an Accenture or an AI startup in drug discovery. They might leverage H2O at sales and marketing and supply chain. They might have another vendor for clinical trials operations like IP and CROs. Right? So this just gives you a perspective. Now within commercial AI, right, what we've done is, this is typically what any AI company would do. I'm calling it out as H2 AI Cloud because that's our solution on our cloud platform. The different areas, if I had to bucket, how are pharma companies leveraging commercial AI right now? It would be divided into these 5 buckets. You've got AI-driven sales, you've got marketing optimization, you've got patient flow. This will be something new. I'm going to touch upon that. You might ask me, Smita, it's talking about patient targeting and stuff, right? It's talking about hospital. How is it related to us? I'm going to come to this. Then you have customer journey and mapping. Customer here refers to physicians. Unless it's a consumer health division that you're talking about, then it will be your end users. And then you've got precision marketing. What does the word precision mean? Personalized, right? To the points, targeting to a particular audience. Now, let's go to AI-driven sales, right? Don't get overwhelmed. I'm telling you again, this is too domain heavy. So you've got, how do you come up with next best action? I think that is self-explanatory, right? Next best action is how do you predict what the next action would be? Using analytics, using AI, using the historical data that you have. Competitive intelligence. How do you leverage AI in social media, in scientific papers? Every company has their own scientific data, which is not only published in the Orange Book, in the FDA, but a lot in white papers as well. So how do you do CI? For example, I'm working at Novartis, for example. I would want to know, right, what the J&J is doing. Or if I'm in the oncology department, I would want to know what Amgen and Pfizer are doing. Pfizer and AstraZeneca are very drug discovery focused companies, right? So how do you leverage AI in driving sales? You also do a lot of AI work right now. For example, GSK, right? The entire sales rep coaching is done by bots, chatbots. There is no human intervention involved. I'm talking about sales coaching, right? Sales training, sales retention, right? Sales admin work. Actually, how well versed are you guys with generative AI? There's a lot of hoo-ha happening, right, about Gen AI. Basic, like what is Gen AI? And you see, you've used ChatGPT. For your work, definitely students will use. Nobody will use, students are definitely going to use. So you know ChatGPT is nothing but they are based on LLM, right? So what, okay, hypothetical, example, you have a sales rep, okay? He's doing detailer. Now this poor guy has to go detail so many physicians, right? For every physician, the marketing guy has given them a personalized campaign. He'll get lost, right? For Aman, there'll be one campaign. For Snickers, there's going to be another campaign, and there's so many reps, so many physicians that these reps would meet. What if they have their own GPT, right? What if a doctor asks about a side effect or a contraindication or the historical clinical data? They might just get into their own GPT, enter a question, and the answer might just come. A lot of sales work, automation is also being done in the industry right now, right? In terms of detailers, right? Coming up with detailers, coming up with marketing campaigns. In SFE, I heard of SFE, sales force effectiveness. It is basically programs, right, that these pharma companies invest a lot of money into to see to it that their sales reps on the ground are working efficiently. So, and we do a lot of sales lead prediction, forecasting, a lot of revenue crunching is also being done by AI. Marketing optimization. Within the marketing space, how AI is being leveraged? Brand marketing, drug effectiveness review, very important, right? You've launched a drug in the market. How do you see to it after the launch how the drug is performing? There's going to be a lot of literature, there's going to be a lot of patient sentiment. What happens in the US is every patient has their own patient portals, right? Most of the payers would be health insurance companies, hospitals. Patients have their own ID, they'll enter into the portal and they'll start writing, oh, you know what, I'm having migraine after having this particular medicine. I'm feeling dizzy, I'm feeling nausea. A lot of pharma companies will want to take a note of all these things, right? So that is nothing but drug effectiveness review. Document AI for physician profiles, physician surveys. Document AI is also nothing but NLP-based solution, which every company has these days. So what happens is when you do a lot of physician profiles, right? I might have hundreds and thousands of physicians sitting in a particular pin code. How do you profile them, right, based on the prescribing pattern? Are they good prescribers? Do they switch from one prescription to the other? Another major loss happens is when you've nurtured a particular physician for your drug, but they tend to switch to other physicians, to other products, right? To avoid that, you have to do physician profiling. You identify KOLs. KOLs are nothing but key opinion leaders. Because these KOLs will actually influence the crowd around them to prescribe a particular drug as well. You use your GPTs, LLMs for marketing ops, like coming up with automatic outreach emails, entering data into the Salesforce portal, etc. Patient flow. This is an interesting one. I'm going to demo the AI app for you guys, okay, for this one. So in patient flow, how do you forecast the number of patients in the hospital? For example, in COVID, there was a major surge of ICU beds, right? There was in India, globally. So how do hospitals, right, predict the capacity simulation of a hospital? How do they predict bed capacity? That has been one of the major concerns, right? Staffing optimization of nurses, right? How do you predict? So these AI models are so efficient, guys, that they can actually go ahead and tell you for the next 2-3 weeks what will be your hospital capacity like, what is based on the patient info that is coming in your OPD and in your ICUs. So I'm going to demo that app. How do you do patient targeting and segmentation? Improve search of physicians and patient targeting. So basically this is related to patient flow, the admission rates of the patients in hospitals, etc. Customer journey mapping, right? Customer here refers to the HCPs and the physicians. Until unless it's a OTC product. How do you leverage artificial intelligence in customer segmentation and targeting? You would want to see you're putting in so much of money, right? These pharma companies. They would want to get the maximum yield out of the money they've invested, right? How do they do that? By customer segmentation and targeting. That is rule number 1. The first area where analytics is applied, has been applied in the past, has always been in customer segmentation and targeting. Customer acquisition. How do you gain net new users? How do you gain net new HCPs? Right? Personalized experiences through marketing campaigns. Physician lifetime value is nothing. As in, there has been a pattern in which a particular physician sticks to your particular prescribed product for a number of years. So you identify, right? This has been the annual tenure of prescribing your drugs so often. How to come up with that? Customer 360. How do you prevent that customer churn? Customer churn will be your physicians as well as consumers or end users. Any doubt till here? There's so much of text. Any doubt here? Or is there any point you would want me to double click on or delve on? Yes. Yes, yes. So if you see, Practo started off as an analytics company, right? They have their inbuilt app inside. Now the interactions when you log into Practo, there's going to be a bot which comes up asking for your questions, right? Your symptoms, and then they'll allocate it. So that bot is a computer vision enabled AI bot. Is this interesting enough, or is this kind of boring, or is interesting? Anything you want me to delve on, or should I go on to precision marketing? I think I'll go. So within precision marketing as well, multi-touch attribution, multi-touch attribution, these are all techniques which marketers apply to see to it the maximum touch points at their physicians in terms of maximum number of prescriptions are being generated. So I think this is about it, and this has been one of the first areas. So drug discovery is one area where these pharma companies pump in a lot of money. Apart from drug discovery, you also have commercial supply chain and sales and marketing. This slide talks about supply chain management. How's it going so far? You want me to go more into details or go more into AI kind of stuff? Just testing the waters here. How's it going so far? So within supply chain, right? So there are two different parts, just like sales and marketing. You've got supply chain and you've got manufacturing. Supply chain and commercial, again, why I'm going in detail is these are the two areas that maximum amount of money is being pumped into. First one we go on to is inventory. So one thing you guys would be wondering, right? What is tabular data? What is documents and unstructured data? What is text, image, and video? These are what? These are the different types of data that it gets into a AI system. So what this particular slide is saying, any company within supply chain AI, how can they do it? They can either go with an AI app, they can have their own app store, which I'll show you, by using an MLOps, machine learning operations. MLOps is the platform Tenet, or a feature store. And the different kind of data that gets inside machine learning is structured, unstructured, text data, video data. Aman will just give you a brief background on what AI is. Now with the inventory, how a particular company is leveraging AI would be, every company would need to know from their vendors, right, what needs to be ordered in terms of APIs, in terms of binders, how much needs to be ordered, how frequently it needs to be ordered. So what needs to be ordered, how often it needs to be ordered. Another problem with hospitals and pharma companies is, how do you predict out of stock risk, right? You would not want to go out of stock, especially in hospitals as well. So this always has to be a leeway. So how do you predict out of stock risk? How do you predict the lead time of delivery for your goods, right? For the APIs and for the binders. Part of management is nothing but a supply chain management solution. So this covers the inventory side of things, how supply chain is being used. Order and procurement is to do with the suppliers, right? Every pharma company would come up with a lot of suppliers, be it through contract manufacturing or CROs. So how do you identify the risk profile of a particular supplier? Has that supplier been giving you your stuff on time? Has there been a delay? Has he not been paying you on time? Has he come up with fraudulent bills? So you would want to profile your suppliers very carefully. And for that you have your supplier risk model, how do you profile your suppliers, PO processing, supply chain contracts. So one thing is very interesting, you guys would have understood is, in pharmaceutical industry, in a pharma company, most of these companies are highly mature. The examples that I'm giving you are live legend examples with successful case studies and success stories on how it's being leveraged. If you want, you can get into Google, do a double click. I'll share my LinkedIn with you, we can always connect. But AI is very, very mature in pharmaceutical organizations across the enterprise. We generally in public would always think about it in BFS, right? In banking and in financial solutions. We would think that AI is being applied there. But trust me, in hospitals, especially in North America and in APAC side of things, hospitals are all AI matured organizations, and pharmaceutical companies have always been the money bags in the industry, right? pharma companies have a lot of money and they're heavily investing in AI. Logistics, right? Loop optimization, how do you track your orders? And with tracking, you have those AI-enabled chips, you have AI-enabled solutions, planning and warehouse management. Warehouse management, how do you come up with your production scheduling, right? And then you have demand forecasting, but of course, right? Understand the demand supply, and based on the AI solutions that you're using for demand, you are going to do your manufacturing as well. Good to go. Any questions here? Too much information? No questions? Okay. I think it's time to answer more. We also have a wait for him to come. Then I'll also talk about hospitals, right? Why I'm insisting on hospitals also is being B.Pharm students, being M.Pharm students, once you get into a corporate job, right, your clients will not, okay, I'm talking from a business and IT perspective and analytics and AI perspective. I'm not talking about, so the first half of the session was very domain heavy, the art of possible and the bright future that you guys have in front of you. I'm just going to touch upon the basics of AI, right? What is artificial intelligence, right? Everybody is talking about LLMs, everybody is talking about GPT, what is NLP. The reason why we are insisting on NLP in pharma is there's a lot of documents that are being created, and natural language processing is one of the most used AI technologies that are there in place.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Aman. I am from H2O.ai. I am a support engineer, and I'll just talk about a little bit. Which one? I just talk about the basics of AI. I'll not go into technical details and I'll not talk about how things are done. I'll just talk about what it is and where we can use the basic terms of artificial intelligence. So you guys, you already have a knowledge in your own domain, and if you can get a little bit of understanding of artificial intelligence, that would really be helpful for you guys in future. Because like Smita mentioned, there has been so much overlap in different domains that one cannot really rely on one kind of knowledge to go ahead and tell. So, AI is like the new buzzword nowadays. You hear it every day, probably read it in newspapers and news and all sort of stuff. So everyone must be thinking, what is it? How does it work? Machine learning, those kind of things. You'll probably read all those kind of things in newspapers. So I'll give you a little idea. So artificial intelligence is basically a computer with a brain which can think of its own, which can make decisions on its own, which can classify things and understand what it is seeing, what it is reading, what it is hearing. So just like a human being, whatever a human person can do, artificial intelligence means the computer can do all those things. So one of the bases of artificial intelligence, a subset you can say, is machine learning. Now, machine learning is also another buzzword which is pretty common, and people talks about it. So what happens in machine learning, that fundamentally machine learning means that if you give enough information to a computer or a program, it will be able to identify patterns in it, and it will be able to make based on that. I'll give you a very, so I'll give you a very common example. If anyone asks me, I'll generally just give the example. When we apply for a home loan or a credit card or any kind of application in a bank, a lot of financial institutions, banks, insurance companies, they are actually using this particular kind of model. So whenever we give an application, we fill in our details, right? Like if I'm applying for a home loan, I'll put in how much salary I'm getting, age, name, all sort of stuff. Now, earlier, the problem was that we had a lot of data. We had like 20-30 years worth of data, but it was all unstructured. Something was there, something was there. We didn't really know what to do. And plus, the computers were not that good, and we were not able to process that much of data. Now we have even petabytes of data, and computers are so powerful that it can be processed like in minutes. So we have ways to process that data. We also have enough data which can be structured in a logical format, which can be understood by a machine. So that's where AI comes into picture. What companies do, that they fill in all those kind of data, like 20-30 years worth of data to a machine learning model, and the model will try and figure out a pattern in it. Like if we think about it logically, like earlier there was like a person who was looking at your application and was deciding whether to give a home loan to this person or not. Now, what happens is when you feed all the data to a model and you create a model, it finds the pattern. You know what, if this person is earning like more than 50,000, there is a chance that the person will pay back the loan. Or if someone is earning say 20,000 and is applying for a huge loan, say 80 lakhs, 90 lakhs, something like that, then there is a possibility that the person might not. It's just like logical, right? Just giving like a basic example. So a machine learning model will figure out patterns in it, and it will be able to identify that when you put in new data in it, like you put in a new application, based on the previous experience, AI will be able to figure out whether the person will default or whether the company should give loan to this kind of person. So that is one of the very common applications, and it's something that any layman can also understand. Any questions on this? If I go too fast or if I say too many technical jargon, please stop me. Please ask.
And I think this is a very good opportunity to get your basics right? Because this guy deals with AI models day in, day out. I'm more of a human person. So basics, any question is not a silly question. Let's make the most of the opportunity that we have here. Any definition of AI, machine learning, deep learning that Aman will tell you, I would really encourage you guys to ask questions.
Yeah. No question is a stupid question. Don't think that, people will think he doesn't know that. Any kind of question will be, and I'll try my best to answer. So, any questions on this credit card example?
Basically, Aman, I want you to introduce your journey, being econ graduate, how you entered in this AI, so that they can consider that, okay, even we also can enter in these fields. So that will give them significance.
Yeah, I'll talk about the technical stuff first, and then in the end I'll give you a little high story.
Actually, sir, the thing is, we understood where AI is helping big pharma, but is it possible that we need something of AI existing, some bot
That is what he will tell you. That is
Yes.
what he will tell you.
So,
Sorry. See, this data science thing is new, right? Anybody can become a data scientist. So you will have to realize on which side of the ball game do you want to be. Do you want to be a data scientist working on this? Do you want to be a data scientist creating models, be a core data scientist writing codes, being models, creating models, right? Or you want to be towards the business side of things, right? I'm a business person, he's the techie, that's the reason I'm requesting him to come in, right? So you have to choose that, and that is how your journey will come. So I really want to talk about the journey part of the story of mine and Aman's after it covers the definitions. So what we do for the next half an hour is, till 4:30 we're going to cover the definitions. I'm going to give you a live demo of AI apps, how they actually function, right? And then we'll talk about our journeys. Make sense? Yes.
yeah, proceed. So you were saying that if you can make things out of it, now technology is so advanced that, to be honest, I'll give you a demo of an app which is basically a UI, and you won't really need to know coding and all sort of stuff. Even if you know basic maths, I would say intermediate level maths, you should be able to figure out patterns and create models. You would need to understand.
You see, we call it as democratizing AI, right? Did that catch your attention? Democratize AI. What does that show? Everybody can use AI. Our company's theme is Makers Gonna Make and democratizing AI. Means AI can be leveraged by anybody, right from a student to a nurse to a BCom graduate to a class 5 student, school student. So it is democratizing. Anybody can democratize AI. Anybody can use AI to that level. You don't need to be.
You don't need to be like a super technical person with one sort of coding knowledge. Even I don't know much coding. I can read code, I cannot write. So that's the fundamental part of machine. That's fundamental part of artificial intelligence when we talk about machine learning. There was another term like talked about deep learning. Deep learning, I would say, in layman's terms, is basically an advanced version of machine learning. So instead of basic predictions and basic decision making, what deep learning does is it works like a human brain. We're trying to mimic human brain as much as possible. Just like we have neurons and we have layers of neurons in our brain. Similarly, the deep learning model, we would have not neurons, but something like a neuron. We call it nodes, and or you can say machines, which are interconnected with each other on a network, and they make decisions. So it's basically for a very advanced kind of, I won't say prediction, for learning basically. If a model wants to learn something, I'll give you an example actually, that will make it clear. So if let's say I have a robot and I want it to learn and differentiate between a cat, dog, and a bird, or different animals. So rather than manually feeding information that a cat may have 4 legs and 1 tail and a bird may not have it, a bird will have a beak and all sort of, there will be like thousands and thousands of parameters which we have to enter manually. So rather than doing it manually, what we can do is we'll show pictures of a cat, a bird, or a dog to the machine learning model, and the model will itself learn and will tell the machine learning model that this is a cat and will show a picture. Then we'll probably show another picture and say this is another cat. And if we do it like enough times, the model itself will be able to figure out after looking at a picture whether it's a cat or a bird or a whatever it is, or a dog or whatever we are trying to make that model. And so basically what it will do is, it will have like stronger connections between the nodes. That's how it will keep on learning. Just like even our neurons, one part may store some data, one may store some other memory, one may store an audio memory. And if it, like for example, if you listen to a song, things get triggered in your brain and it releases right. So it's something similar to that. So just like a human brain, that's a computer will also learn things on its own without manually forcing it to learn. So that's deep learning in a nutshell. Okay, there was another thing she mentioned, prompt vision. So prompt vision is basically computer vision. Just like a human, we can see things, we can identify. I can look at a person and tell, I mean, a girl, or sorry, she's a girl, or the boy, or things like that. Similarly, the process by which a computer can look at images and videos and identify things is basically computer vision. And if we talk about practical applications, so we can classify images. For example, I talked about the cat, bird, example, just like that. We show the images and the computer should be able to understand. Practically, it can also caption images. I don't know if you have used those kind of tools. Like if you'll show an image to a machine maybe write a story or things like that. Okay, optical character reader. That's very interesting and might be applicable in your use cases. When you guys will be able to get into AI. So basically, you write stuff, you show it to a machine learning model, it will be able to translate into a searchable and a formattable text within the machine. So you write it by hand and you'll get something on the in searchable format. That's OCR. We can also use it in security surveillance, use face detection. A lot of countries in China is being used. And what else? Augmented reality, right? That also is based on a machine learning model which uses computer vision. Okay, NLP. Yeah. We talked about NLP a lot. NLP is natural language processing. We talked about computer vision, deep learning, those kind of things. So just like computer vision is based on images and videos, similarly, NLP is specifically for text. It can classify text. It can, I'm just giving you like use cases. So it can classify text. You show a letter to an AI model, and the AI model will be able to tell you, what is the sentiment of this letter? Whether it's happy. Have you guys used Grammarly, or you must have seen an ad, right? I use Grammarly. When I write an email, just by the words, it can figure out whether it's neutral, good, happy, sad, or whatever. So that is again, it's like a chatbot which is able to identify using it. Chatbots. Chatbots is something which is which leverages NLP a lot. A chatbot, I'm sure you guys do, right? You put in a sentence and it will be able to give answers. That's basically it. So generative AI and LLM, it's kind of goes hand in hand. Before I talk about it, any questions on things I talked about earlier? Anything anyone else wants to add? Anyone? No?
Any idea on where computer vision can be applied in healthcare? You was talking about images, right?
Yes.
You're talking about images, right? So where do you think it will help us in healthcare profession? Who will use computer vision? For what purposes? Any idea? Just guess. Observation of patients, very good. X-rays, right? Classical example.
Medical images.
Medical imaging, classical example. Most of the doctors leverage computer vision for imaging purposes. What happens is a lot of times due to human errors, due to human intervention, you might not see the minuscule inflammation, or there's been some diversion, right? So computer vision is extensively used in hospitals and by physicians. Though in India, the adoption is only restricted to the big ones, but I think CV ka best example is in hospitals. And in NLP, what will be classical use cases in healthcare? I told this in the beginning of the session. Regulatory affairs, clinical documents for sales and marketing, supply chain, for R&D. NLP will go across, because pharma documents, the amount of data that is generated in pharmaceutical industry is tremendous. OCR, where will OCR be used? What did he talk about OCR? What is optical character recognition?
So handwritten to text.
Prescriptions. So a lot of times what happens is, till now prescriptions are generated written on papers, right? Tata 1mg. So most of these apps, right, our EHRs, our electronic health records, are every health record. You go to Aster Hospital or Vedanta, a particular patient ID is created, right? So that's all uploaded in EHR. So you go to a Vedanta Ranchi, you go to a Vedanta Bombay, you just put your employee ID, the entire information comes. A lot of times what happens, there are old school doctors who will write prescriptions on paper. So how do you convert those paper-based prescriptions to electronic format? OCR, right? And that's how it's uploaded in EHR. So I'm just giving you tidbits of real-time application to make you remember.
Another example of OCR is, I think I need to know this. I uploaded my passport and all my, it was a digital scanned photo, and it was able to read all the documents and fill all. Okay, generative AI. So generative guys have heard this term or only a name?
They're all millennials, they're not Gen Z, right? Not even
Yeah,
millennials.
Gen Z. Generative AI, we talked about AI, where AI can make predictions or it can make a decision, say a yes or no, or it will give you, like, another example I'll give you. So if you feed it enough information to create a model for, let's say, if in a certain area in Bangalore, if you put in details of housing prices, then based on the previous historical data, it will be able to figure out, for a new house, it will be able to figure out how much it will cost. There will be parameters like, in historical data, there will be parameters like how big the house is, how new is the construction, who's the builder, those kind of things. So based on that, it will give you a range. So why I gave this example? That earlier, AI was only able to generate a yes or a no, right? Give loan or don't give loan. Now it can also give you a range, like the house should cost between this and this based on the previous. So how does house rates gets calculated? Some guy decides that okay, I'm going to sell it on this, but then there is a sentiment behind it, right? There's some logic behind it. So that logic, instead of a person doing it, AI is taking that decision. So it can also do that. Now, we talked about making a decision, and we talked about giving a range. There's another way, another AI, it has evolved to such an extent that it not only can give a yes or no answer, it can create stuff on its own. It can create a text document, like example, ChatGPT. You ask it to write something, it will write an essay for you. Similarly, it can create music. There are so many apps now which can create music, create lyrics, create videos, images, it can paint for you. So that's basically generative AI. So any kind of AI that can generate something, just like a human person can think and generate, kind of generate. Okay. Now there's another thing, LLM, another technical word we talked about. LLM is large language model, and it's so generative AI and LLM is kind of synonymous, because LLM would be a model which would have so much data fed into it that it can generate and talk to you, have a conversation with you, everything in text, and it leverages NLP, which we talked about earlier. I said, right? Only text documents it can create. So it uses the NLP and it creates, generates stuff. That's basically LLM. Again, classical example is ChatGPT, and now there are so many companies which are coming up. Lambda. Lambda is
Brag.
yeah, that one I don't know, but I'm sure there is something. So that's one classical example. Any questions on this LLM or generative AI? Anything. It feels like I'm just speaking and everyone wants to go home. No questions? Okay. I'll give a little demo. Maybe internally, you don't have access to it. Okay. I'll use internally because I have some data.
We have our own GPT as well. Just FYI, our startup, right? We have our own GPT called as HQ GPT, and we're the only company in the world, the first company who open sourced our GPT. So Chat GPT, right? It's all paid services. So we're the first company in the world who came up with our own open source GPT. We call that as Chat.
Open source is basically that is available to everyone. So instead of you license it and then sell it, it is open. Anyone can download the source code, modify it, and name it Aman GPT, and then maybe start selling. Ours is an open. I'll give that demo I guess here. GPT browser.
ಶರತ್ ಬರ್ತದ ಬರಕತ್ತದ
So this is our it's a public URL. Friends can also play with it. I just ask a couple of unlike ChatGPT, this is basically these are all different LLM models. I talked about LLM. These are different LLM models. So, what's interesting about this is that it is open source. People can play with it. And let's say if someone likes this LLM model, I mean, you can probably compare all the models, all the answers of the models, see which one is specifically suits to your organization, and use that GPT model for your own usage. I'll put this something a little more complicated. So this information, it is not something which is like fed by a person. This is all being actually written by the AI. The generative AI is actually answering it. It's not something that I've given or someone has put in this database and it is just copying and pasting it. You might, if you probably restructure your question, it will give you a different answer. So that's what's the most beautiful thing about it. This is our GPT, gpt.h2o.ai. You guys, it's open source, free, play with it. Have fun. Any questions on this?
How much data do you consume, sir?
How much?
Data do you consume, sir? More information is given, sir. How much data do you consume?
How much data it consumes, as it is giving more information.
How much do you like? Are you saying data points? If you say data points or just the data? It doesn't, yeah, it doesn't really work like that. Oh, you mean on the phone? Yeah, I don't think it does. Yeah, not much.
Are the answers reproducible?
Yes?
Yes.
Absolutely. Like I said, it's reproducible. The trust will be the same. And like I said, if I probably restructure my question, the answer might be different, but it won't be different to an extent where it won't make sense. It will be still the exact same. And yeah, data, I'm not really sure. You guys, you can check. You answer me. Anyone else?
And I think the wonderful thing about H2O GPT is, not to be marketing it or anything, but not only is the first open source one, there are a number of players that came to the market after we launched. The beauty about this is it can be installed on-premise. So within the health space, right, ChatGPT and stuff are on cloud, but a particular, for example, a hospital, where a lot of PII data is there. PII is patient identified data, right? So that is something that will not be disclosed because of non-compliance and stuff. So you would want to have most of the data on-prem and not in cloud because of security reasons. That is where H2O GPT comes into the play, right? Every company can have their own GPT leveraging open source or on-prem. The reason why I'm saying on-prem is it's not in cloud. So when
patient-related data, or even for that matter, even BFS accounts, right? Majority of AT&T and Wells Fargo, Commonwealth Bank of America, they would all want the data to be on-prem and not on cloud for security reasons. So for that cases, H2O GPD something like this is what we use. So what we'll do now is, probably we'll just showcase. So the beauty about an AI platform is, so you asked how to get into the data science space. One need not be a data scientist if they are leveraging a platform like ours. Why? Because we enable a lot of citizen data scientists. I'm not sure if you heard about citizen data scientists. Citizen data scientist means you need not be a data scientist to create models. The moment you enter data, models will be automatically generated. You make and operate models. So for that, we have AutoML platforms like ours and the other players as well. So a lot of the models can be generated by AI platforms by not even being data scientists. Just to answer that.
So just to answer you, you said if you can create a model. So if you have enough information about the data set which you're using, when I say data set, I mean the data which includes testing or training the model. This is the platform. Our platform name is Driverless AI. And might be a little technical. You can stop me if it's too fast.
Okay, so the prima facie here, what we want to do is showcase you real application of how an AI platform looks like, right? In reality, how an AI platform looks like, which has AutoML features, which has ML logs. And when I was telling you, right, anybody can become a citizen data scientist using our platform. So we'll just show you simple things, right? How do we just need to put data, we just need to sift the data, split the data, put it into our platform, experiments will be generated, and a highly accurate model is automatically generated, sifting through the data. So it's just really a model.
I'll not be getting into details of what exactly all those tabs are, just the basic things to show you or give you a feel on how an AI platform actually looks. So earlier, everything was done manually, like a data scientist person who would have some basic understanding of Python or whatever language they want to use. They would probably first go through the data. They will clean the data. Cleaning would basically mean taking out irrelevant columns. For example, nationality, right? It doesn't really matter. That will not have an impact if a person is going to default as a no. And that's not a parameter. So that's called taking out the noise from the data, irrelevant stuff. So earlier, data scientist was doing this manually. Then a data scientist was like it was a hit and trial method. A data scientist would run some kind of algorithm, whatever is applicable to his input, and 5, 6, 7, 10 times, and he's going to see, and the data scientist would have checked which one is the best for his use case, and then they would have run their model. But using this platform, they can simply upload their data. Like I have uploaded a couple of data sets. I've been giving this example, credit card example. So this is just like an Excel sheet or a CSV which would have different columns, name, occupation, all that stuff. If you guys are interested, quickly show you what is this first. These are all the columns, and these are basically what the columns are. How many? So it has 3001 columns of this line, of this row. And it's a string. That means string means basically it's a word. It's not a numerical value. So then all the it's all UI, it's all pretty much self-explainable. There is a wizard also where you can specify that you're how well versed you are with data science, and it will automatically create a UI for you and tell you that you do this, and it's like an assisted guidance which you will get. So we are creating a new experiment. So in an experiment, what happens is, I talked about it, right? There's a data scientist who will run it 5-10 times and see which one is suitable. So here, when an experiment is run, this platform will run all the possible algorithms, and it will automatically decide which one is the best suitable and give you the result for the best suitable algorithm for that particular use case. Okay, so I select. Now, this is all kinds of experiments. It's not this gives you a little overview of how the data set looks like. This basically means what we are trying to predict, right? It says target column. What are we trying to predict? So unfortunately, this data set has columns as rows as x1, x2, and it has the actual name of the column. But I mean, since I used it, I know. So y is basically the target column. Don't worry too much about this. It's just that I worked on this, so I know. Otherwise, you would have opened the data set and see what you're trying to predict. These are all configurations that how accurate you want that model to be, how much time you want the model to take. Because for some use cases, in some businesses, they might want I can answer quickly. They don't really care that the answer should be really accurate. So you can decrease the time. But some may want like a really, really accurate model, and they don't really want they don't really mind taking it too much time. So you can probably play with these settings here. And this talks about, so this is the kind of an experiment where the answer is a yes or no. This is the kind of experiment where you get a range. And maybe at what time it might rain today. I mean, we know that it will, but it may be able to predict at what time. And you will simply launch the experiment. Once it will start here, it will run iteration data. It will keep on running the same kind of model. So you want different kind of model from the data set, and it will compare scores, and based on that, it will be able to give you a result and give you an accurate. So here it's just reading the data set, understanding what kind of value we have in the data set. Then it will start.
This is live, right, guys?
This is a real experiment. This is basically how you will run. It's on a very high level. Don't worry. I mean, once you start looking at the data set, I mean, in a hypothetical situation, if you know that what you are trying to predict, then this things will start making sense. This is just the information of the memory and the CPU being utilized by experiment. Any questions on this? Anything in this one ask? So I'll not hold you guys till it completes. It might take a while. Just let it run.
Probably you can see, right, you need not be a data scientist to sift through the data. You just select the data that you want, you split the data, you run an experiment, and the best model will get generated by the platform that you have. Yeah, it's good. So the last leg, won't bore you guys more, right? How's it been going so far? Too much? Too overwhelming? No? I'm going to wind it up. Maybe 5 to 10 minutes more.
How can AI be integrated in drug discovery? Can you give an example?
So in drug discovery, right, there are numerous use cases, right, from there are numerous use cases, right, in drug discovery, right, from understanding the mechanism of action. That is one. Drug repurposing, I said, right? You can repurpose or reposition a particular drug. How to understand and come up with new drugs to a protein ligation. A lot of drug designing is being done by using ML models, right? Deep learning models, machine learning models. So if you look into these startups, right, there are 2-3 startups that I mentioned about Excentia, BioValent. They have inbuilt models. Now you may ask, right, how will it help in coming up with new mechanism of action or identify what the mechanism of action is, protein to protein binding, coming up with unmet needs of a particular molecule, right? To change a particular molecule and a new drug is formed. So all these.
We do the docking studies, no, in the
Correct.
chemistry.
Yes.
They have a software called as for Bridger, something
Exactly.
like that, same.
Yeah. And in drug discovery, they play around with a lot of omics data. So all these platforms, right, AI platforms in drug discovery, they have inbuilt models on omics data. So all these scientists have the liberty to play on a 3D basis with machine learning algorithms. And that will not only assure accuracy, but will reduce a lot of manual errors. It will reduce a lot of human intervention as well. So this is a very interesting concept that we have. So a lot of these times, you remember I told you there are 2 ways in which you work, you get into AI. One is being a core data scientist and second is working with the business, right? So a lot of these times, the business guys, the CXOs, right, CIOs, CTOs, chief marketing officers, they are not data scientists, but they would want to see what the data scientist teams are working upon, right? They would want an interface to understand what are the AI applications that these guys have built. So we have an AI app store that you're seeing here. It is just like an Amazon portal, okay? You can go and shop and you can look for apps that are built by data scientists for the business users to showcase, right? These are inbuilt. So these are all inbuilt pre-modeled apps that we have in store. Okay, so if you can just go through the healthcare one. So we have a variety of apps in our app store. Healthcare, right? What we've done is these are ready to be onboarded apps. So not only can you sell platform, but you can also sell these pre-built models to pharma companies. Ready to be onboarded models. I'll show it in my laptop because sorry to install. Demo. I promise to wrap it up in 5 minutes quickly. This is going to tell you how an app actually looks like, an AI app. I'm going to directly go on to so these are the apps, right, that we have with us. So in the interest of time, right, so there are a number of apps that we have built. These are all healthcare apps. So right from Root Optimizer, what do you think this app would be? Related to? It could be, but Optimizer. That is root of administration. Root Optimizer would be supply chain, right? Then there is one for diabetic retinopathy, hospital consensus, medical appointment no-show. So one of the major problems that hospitals face these days is the patients don't turn up, right? And there's a lot of revenue leakage that happens. So how do you leverage machine learning and deep learning algorithms to see to it that the patient not only turns up, but the reduction of attrition goes down as much as possible. We have solutions in hospital resource predictor wherein we can come up with the cost of the patient, hospital readmission, right? In US, one of the major problems that is there is a very high healthcare cost, right? We want to reduce readmission. So how do you predict that if a particular patient is going to be readmitted, at what cost, patient adherence, right? So I'm going to quickly showcase one particular app. This is an app that we had built for the largest hospital network in the US. BSMH, Bond City Mercy Health, and they are not only our investors, but they've been there with us in the past 3 years. I'm quickly going to load this. So this is an app. So what Aman showed was the platform. The engine behind this app is the platform that Aman showed. And this is just the app, right? right? We have a lot of apps with diabetic retinopathy. Diabetic retinopathy would be what kind of an AI solution to do with imaging? Computer vision, right? So we have a diabetic retinopathy app where you can actually just put the image. The system is going to understand, is it mild, is it proliferative, does it need doctor intervention, does it need surgery. So I'll quickly go. If you are lucky, we'll wait for a minute and see. Wind it up. Any questions so far?
Sneha, I just want to know that to enter in this field, what kind of skill set a student should have?
I think we just wrap this up there. So this I'll typically probably we can connect later. I can come back for a follow-up here now and we can do that. In the interest of time, let's share our journeys. I'll start since I'm here and Lavani can join in. The primary skill sets I would see there are two requisites that you need to have. This is the third term I'm reiterating. You need to know where your skill sets are, what you have to play to your advantages, right? The world is huge and trust me, what sells right now is domain. I'm being recorded, but yes, what sells right now is domain. MBAs, there was a time when I did my M-Pharma, right, 2011, 2009-11 batch. I graduated in 2007. Everybody was doing MBAs that time, right? But thankfully, I chose domain. See, when you get into meetings, right, what the skill set that we guys bring onto the table, nobody else does, is because of 4 plus 2 years of education. Data science is something anybody can pick up. Trust me, there are plenty of courses available online. So if you think your math is getting into becoming a data scientist, that will be your USP because you not only know domain, but you'll start making models. You'll start creating models. So you can definitely use your weekends, right? Get into a course, do a Coursera, you have Udemy, there are plenty of courses. A lot of these universities have offline courses as well, right? Weekend courses. And it's worth the effort, you want to get the returns as soon as possible. That is if you have a technical mindset, you want to get into the data science role. You want to do coding, you want to come up with data models. If you want to work on the business side of things, I'll tell you honestly, I play to my strength, right? What I bring onto the table is domain. So when you get into a particular company, there are numerous data scientists, right? These guys know their product. These guys talk about AI like nobody else does. But when every company is into healthcare, remember I started with that statement, right from hyperscalers to IT companies like Accenture, Infosys, HCL, you name it, they have a dedicated healthcare team, the data scientists with analytics guys. You have IQVIA, you have business analytics boutique firms, right? So when you get into client conversations, right? And most of our clients are healthcare. Trust me when I say healthcare logos are the cash cows next to BFS. Banking and financial institutions and healthcare are the cash cows for any industry. When I say for any company for that matter. You quote Accenture, you quote Deloitte, right? You quote Amazon. Amazon has their own health cloud. Google has their own health cloud. Microsoft has their own health cloud, right? So if you want to get into the business side of things, when you get into client calls, a data scientist is going to go there, do the demo of the product, right? They're going to talk the technicalities. But when you're talking to the personas who you're going to sell the product to, you need to talk domain. You need to talk to their language, right? They need to understand that I'm speaking to somebody who understands the industry, who understands the domain, and you're going to be the pivot between the data science team, right? Between the analytics team, and between the buyer whom you're talking to. You getting it? And that is our USP which nobody else has. Trust me. You'll have data scientists going ahead and giving demos. But when you're talking to a Pfizer CTO, when you're talking to a Pfizer buyer, right? A Pfizer, or when you're talking to Kaiser Permanente, you're talking to Shankar Nethralaya, you might sell your product, you might sell analytics, but for example, if you're selling an analytics solution, forget AI, you're getting into an analytics solution. If you don't understand your domain, how are you going to talk to the business leaders? How are you going to help generate revenue for the company? That is the domain that you're bringing. Correct? And if, see the beauty of it, if there's an amalgamation of technology and domain, that is what the market needs right now. Everybody is talking about technology. right? Everybody is talking about data science. Who is talking about domain? And trust me, domain sells. Domain is the new currency right now. People who talk about BFS as a domain, BFS is also regulatory. People who talk about healthcare. So my suggestion would be stick to the domain, right? It works. It's worked for me. It's worked for my friends, right? And this is the best time you could have chosen this particular degree for yourselves. Now it is totally dependent on you how you make the most of the opportunities that are lying ahead of you. When I did my M-Pharma in 2011, Genpact was the first company that ever came to RGUHS. Right? My batch was the only batch where we got into an IT services or BPM company. Till then, we never had that opportunity because all we were thinking of, okay, you know what, I'll get into MR role, I'll get into production, I'll get into QA. But that silo got broken in 2011. I got into Genpact and my career pivoted from there. There was no looking back because I wanted to work with the business. If you think your skill set lies in drug discovery, what are you saying? You go to a Novartis, you go to a Pfizer, most of the captains are sitting here, right? If you marry your domain know-how with analytics, with AI, they'll recruit you in a jiffy. The average package that we got recruited was very good compared to other colleges in Genpact. Why? Because it was pharmaceutical marketing and management. There was marry of business and domain. But now in your generation, like you guys are sitting on a gold mine with the amount of opportunities that have opened up, right? You go to an Accenture, you go to a Microsoft. A friend of mine, right? He just got through a Microsoft interview for AI sales solutioning. And the package is 55 lakhs. A friend of mine. Right? So knowledge is one thing, having degrees is one thing, but how do you make most of it is what counts. If you want to go to the business side of things, there is no looking back. There is no looking back. But you have to sell your domain. If you want to get into data sciences, nothing like it. You're going to be a techno-functional guy, right? You're going to know your domain, you know coding. What else does the company want? They'll just go and grab you. In case if you see that when it comes to placements, you're not getting opportunities, one little tip I'll tell you is network, okay? Network with your seniors, network with the alumni that you have. The alumni that I had, my seniors, they are in a very good position, but nobody is in AI analytics because it was not there. I got lucky because I got through Genpact and my career pivoted. So network a lot and know your skill set. What do you want to make most out of? Do you want to get into core pharma? Most of the core pharma companies are paying very well right now. But if you talk in the language, whenever you get into interviews, right, talk about analytics, talk about NLP, talk about OCR, right? So not only you're marrying the domain that you know, but you're also you're very well versed with the AI adoption that is happening in the industry, and that is what I covered. And secondly, like Aman will guide you, if you want to get into the data science kind of place, more than welcome. But you need to have that skill set and patience of it, right? And I think, just to answer your question, ma'am, I think sky is the limit in terms of package. There was a time when MBA would sell. Right now, you get into an interview, you call out your domain know-how. That is what every industry is looking at. If you talk domain, if you walk domain, and you do the talk, I think there's no limit to it. And you guys are graduating and doing your postgrads at the best time possible. The industries who are not into healthcare have got into healthcare post-COVID. They've all got into COVID. So yeah, I think that's it. Like any questions for me before I hand it over to Aman? Any questions whatsoever? Yeah, good.
Students, anything is there, you can ask.
In terms of career growth or progression, I'll share my email ID with Rakesh and ma'am, and probably just reach out to me in case if you think I can help in any way, I can coach you in any way. And in terms of internship opportunities also, I probably talk with Rakesh and see how things can come up. But I would just end my session here by saying, I'm just repeating the same thing again, this is the best time to be in healthcare. Don't restrict yourselves only to pharma, just because we studied pharma. When you get into the market, it's healthcare. So there's hospitals, there's health insurance and pharma. there are 3 avenues once again in terms of career getting into core pharma companies. Every pharma company are recruiting not only in manufacturing supply chain but also in the analytics side of things. So one is getting into core pharma companies. Beauty is most pharma companies ka captives are in India. The data analytics space, the AI work are being done by the grey matter and the green matter sitting in Hyderabad, Bangalore, Pune and Gurgaon. Right? That is getting into core pharma companies. Second would be looking into hyperscalers, Amazon, Microsoft, GCPs, right? In the long run, when you build your resume, build your experience, that is an avenue to get into IT services. Everybody is there. I started my journey in IT services as well. And then your boutique firms as well. So it's basically how you walk the talk of selling domain and technology. That's it. And before I you're good? Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. I have some chocolates here. Please feel free, and we have few stickers as well. In case you want to stick with your laptops or books. Please
Few
feel
stickers
free.
from H2, I'll just keep it here, you guys can come.
And I'm also there on LinkedIn. There's only one Smita post, luckily. My name comes up, so do feel free. And can we get a group photo if possible? Are you guys here? Group photo?
సరే చాక్లెట్స్
Please help yourselves with chocolates. There are some chocolates. Let us have it before it gets over. There are stickers as well. And just stay back. I just want to take a group photo. I'm going to share this with my college friends as well.
Ma'am, after the vote of thanks.
Sure.
Yes, yes. So my name is Aman Kalia, Kalia, and hopefully there's only one. I will search myself. So you can add me on LinkedIn. Stay in touch with your seniors and do as much networking as you can.
How you have come to this?
Yeah.
No, sir, one question I have. Like, sir, like, they are B.Pharm graduates and M.Pharm graduates. They don't have any knowledge about this. They can just enter like.
Not because they need knowledge. I think hopefully after this session you have some knowledge and you can
No, some knowledge we have, but we don't have the hands-on, no.
hands-on will always
So just to give a.
There are companies who are open to taking up freshers. It depends how you crack the interview. If you show your appetite to learn, they're going to train you. If you're complacent, oh God, I don't know anything, tell them to do. But if you tell the interview that I have the appetite to learn, I'm doing courses in Udemy, I'm doing courses in Coursera. And the other thing, right?
Wait a
Guys,
minute,
the other thing that you have to keep in mind, there are awesome communities, online communities for analytics and data sciences. There are awesome healthcare communities as well. Not sure if you know, called as Analytics Vidya hai. There are many online. There are a lot of meetups that keep happening. So in order to,
Freshers are having opportunity.
everybody started as a fresher.
No, ma'am, sir.
Ma'am,
Pfizer said
Pfizer
that
and also
they want.
eligibility is only 5 years of experience there.
So probably you reach out to your seniors there. And I think one thing. And you know what? Everybody says that networking is the latest currency. Yes. You need to have a very strong network. And especially my seniors are very well established. So probably you should start with it.
టఫ్ మీడియం
Like water. Everybody needs us.
Maybe
because you
lamina
can,
or
put in AI in everything. We're trying to democratize it.
Water mix anything. That's how AI can mix
Mix
with.
with any yoga.
Whatever solution given by them can do anything.
In fact, most of our products, they are somehow related to water. Sparkling water and steam.
Name the products alongside
The
water.
products are based on that.
ప్రమోషన్ ఏమన్నా ప్రమోషన్ శరత్
Thank you, ma'am. So it was really a wonderful session and we got a very good insight about AI and pharma. On behalf of the entire fraternity of Al-Amin College of Pharmacy, I thank you so much. Now I would like to request all the dignitaries to felicitate our guest and our guest speaker, Snigdha Bose ma'am. Last but not the least, I would like to call upon the Joint Secretary, AACP Pharmaceutical Society to propose the vote of thanks. I would like to request all the dignitaries to honor our another guest, Mr. Yes, sir. Sorry, sir, I actually don't know your name. Now I would like to request the Joint Secretary, AACP Pharmaceutical Society to propose the vote of thanks.
Good evening, one and all. On behalf of Al-Amin College of Pharmacy, myself, Tenzin Pema, Joint Secretary, take this opportunity to propose vote of thanks. At the outset, I would like to thank our respected Principal, Dr. Mohammad Salahuddin Sir, for his encouragement, guidance, and support in organizing this session. I am immensely thankful to our Vice Principal, Dr. Mubin Kali ma'am, who always take great effort in helping and motivating us. Further, I extend my vote of thanks to Placement Cell Head, Dr. Preeti Karwa ma'am and her team for oral guidance and organizing this session, which will help us in mapping our strength to select the field of interest. I must thank from bottom of my heart to our today's speaker, Ms. Snigdha Bose, Director Healthcare and Life Science, H2O.ai. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. The talk has been truly enlightening and has opened our eyes to the vast potential of AI in reshaping the landscape of healthcare and its impacts on business. I also thank Aman sir for explaining basics of AI fundamentals that was exceptionally informative, shedding light on complex concepts in a manner that everyone understood with a live demo. I hope this session would help all of us for exploring AI further, practical insight that will positively impact our careers. Thank you one and all for active engagement, and thank you.